Burnout Paradise. Releasing in 2008, Burnout Paradise was an open-world racing game developed by Criterion. Paradise was the third Burnout game published under EA, following on from the popular Burnout 3 and the Burnout Revenge games. Unfortunately, since its release, Criterion has shifted their focus. They took over the entire Need for Speed series, and they also work on games such as Battlefront and Battlefield. This means that, since 2008, we haven't actually had a new Paradise game, or a Burnout game in general, and we probably won't ever get one again. Despite this, in 2018, potentially to mark the 10-year anniversary of Paradise, we got Paradise Remastered. With improved graphics and bundled with all of the old DLC that was available, this was a great surprise for all fans of the original game, myself included. Now when I say I was a fan, that does mean that yes, I play the original. I got all the achievements apart from 3, which you will see here. There are unfortunately 3 that are now discontinued, the online doesn't exist anymore. So I figured, as I was ill before Christmas, let's maybe complete the remaster 100%. Finally get it done. Now I did have some minor progress before we started. As you can see, I had 26 achievements. They're all from the very start of the game and they are like really minor. This is a very long game, so I didn't record the first bit because I played it when it came out, but there's a whole lot of footage to come because this took a while. So the first part of Burnout is the progression system. So when you start the game, you begin with a learner's license. After 2 wins, this upgrades to a D license, 7 wins to a C, and so on. You can see on the right just how many wins it takes in total. So there are 120 events in the game. You essentially need 90 of these event wins to get to your Burnout license. Everything resets, and you need to win every single event again to unlock your Elite license. Quite a grind. On top of the event wins, you have to find the 11 car parks. You need to find the 120 events, which are traditionally found at every intersection in the game where there are traffic lights. 14 gas stations, 5 junkyards, 5 paint shops, 11 repair shops. There are also quite a mammoth amount of collectibles on this game. So first of all you get super jumps, which are large jumps which are signified on the map by a set of lights before a ramp. There are 50 of these in the game. There are also smashes, which are essentially yellow gates which signify shortcuts in the game. There are 400 of these in the game to find. And finally there are Burnout Paradise billboards, which are billboards as you'd expect. They're normally in shortcuts or difficult jumps and hard to reach areas, and there are 120 of these, making for a total of 570 collectibles. Now you can track where these are, which ones you're missing in terms of regions. So if you go into your stats, you can see how many you've got in which area to kind of narrow it down, but you can't see specific ones you're missing, and there is no kind of in-game map you can buy which will show you exactly what you do and don't have. So easy enough at the start, but by the end it can become something of a nightmare, to be honest. Now for fans of Burnout 3, such as myself, one other thing you have to do is all of the show times in the game. So there are 64 different roads in the game, and each of them has a showtime score to beat. So this is a score which is preset by the developers. To activate it, all you got to do, go to a road and hold LB and RB, and you'll go into this mode you can see here. So the aim is to accumulate enough destruction to beat the target score on each road. You can earn a multiplier by hitting into buses, and you also get a bonus score for the distance travelled. So what it does is it adds up your total carnage score plus your distance travelled, and it multiplies it by the multiplier that you earned. Now, as if this wasn't enough, on every single road there's also a time road rule. So some of these are really simple, they're like 5-second times for really short roads, and sometimes they're like upwards of 2 minutes. So what you've got to do is you need to beat the preset target time for every single road in the game. As I said, 64 of them, which after doing every race and all of the collectibles is pretty much the exact last thing you want to do. But unfortunately, it has to be done. So before I start anything, it probably makes sense to show my starting stats. Nearly 10 hours played, 26% completion, and very little done. So pretty much the first thing I decided to do was get all of the car parks. This is essentially a miscellaneous achievement, but it's nice and easy. There's only a few, so it's really quick and easy to find. Ta-da! Car park. There we go. Paid and displayed. Dunzo. Straight after this, I popped the Shopaholic achievement. So this is for finding all of the car parks along with every drive-through. So those are things that like the junkyards and repair shops I mentioned. So quick and easy, took no time at all, but it takes another achievement off. So another miscellaneous I got around this time was Crash TV Airtime. So Crash Islands was originally DLC on the 360, but it's now part of the main game. So all you got to do is do the biggest super jump in Crash Islands and get at least, I believe, 4.5 seconds airtime. So nice and easy, pretty much impossible to fail as long as you go for the full run up and boost the whole way. So nice and easy, and another achievement. So around this time I decided to also mop up the online achievements that I could double box, so just boosting them by myself. So a few of these require playing party games, which is where you're tasked with doing certain things, and people that fail will lose score, people that succeed earn score. So 2 achievements for this. The first one was to complete a party game where everyone scores in every round. So all you had to do is 2 players, 1 round, and make sure you both succeeded in whatever task you were given. The next achievement to do here was Massive Party Game, so you need to do 8 rounds with 8 players, so you can do it all off of one Xbox for this, and literally just set it to 8 rounds, 8 players, and just grind all the way through it. Took a little while, but it's still nice and easy. Right after this, I double boxed all of the Cops and Robbers achievements, so literally you get a team of cops, team of robbers, there is some gold bars in the middle, and robbers have to steal the gold and police have to stop them stealing it. So all you've got to do for this is deliver the gold as a robber. You need to be on the winning team as a robber and the winning team as a cop. So with 2 consoles going, I just had to make sure that I took it in turns on my main profile, winning as both types and delivering the gold. Nice and easy. So continuing through the miscellaneous achievements, the first one I got was The Show Must Go On. So as mentioned earlier, Showtime is essentially one of the Burnout 3 modes where you need to cause destruction. To get your 10 times multiplier, you literally just need to find a total of 9 buses to add 9 to your multiplier to leave you at 10 times. There is a road that makes this very easy. You get like 3 parks in a row, and then you just need to keep your combo alive until you get to the 10 times. Not hard, took like 2 attempts. I then got the achievement It's Showtime, which is on Showtime again. You need to beat the target score on one of the roads, East Crawford Drive. It wasn't hard at all, got it first attempt. I saved most of these for later, but I did this one just for the achievement early on, just to mop it up along the way. Next up I got boosting around the world. This is a bit more of a pain. You need to get a 20 times boost chain. So the way this works is you have boost for your cars. Certain cars, if you do things which build up your boost, such as drifting or going into oncoming traffic, and you boost consistently, you can get a burnout chain going where it just refills your boost and you start again. So for this you need to get 20 times without losing the combo and without crashing. Can be a bit difficult because you're going at such a high speed, but doing it on the freeway, it wasn't too bad. Took a few attempts, but got there in the end. So keeping the exploration alive, I then found all of the events. As I mentioned, there are quite a few of them, 120 I think I said, but they're really simple. They're just at every crossroads in the game, and you can get maps online to easily follow it and just tick off what you are and aren't missing. So took no time at all, got it all done, filled up the map. So around the time I was mopping up all these miscellaneous achievements, I was also doing the online challenges, which I haven't previously mentioned. It was basically all I was missing from the original, and I never did it. So what happens is you get free burn challenges online between 2 and 8 players, and there's 50 for each amount of players. So a total of 350, I think. These task you for doing all different things, so getting maybe a certain amount of seconds of boost, doing barrel rolls, jumps, meeting in certain places. It's quite a nightmare, so I joined a bunch of sessions on TA and got all of these done. It was actually quite fun. I got a good group and I knocked it out in no time, so this was kind of like the catalyst to making me complete this game, because it's often a bit of a grind. It's hard finding people at times, and once this was out of the way I knew it'd just be plain sailing single player, nice and easy. So we started by getting People Person, where you have to do 10 island free burn challenges. So this is in the Crash Island DLC that I mentioned earlier. And then I got the big achievement after this, which was Party Animal, which is completing 250 online challenges. I also got one along the way for completing 2 whole sections, which is a third achievement called Block Party, I think. So wasn't bad at all. And whilst I was doing this, I actually got very lucky. One of the last challenges I was doing, I drove onto the roof of a car park and I found my last 2 smashes. I found all of the last 7 in about a minute or 2 minutes, so I just completely fluked out. But yeah, without following any guide, I got all 400 smashes, which I was ecstatic with, to be honest, really happy. So knocked out all the online stuff, challenge wise, and got all the smashes. So that was a very successful few days when I was going for this. So the very 2 last online achievements I needed was to win 10 races and to play 20 events. So once again, I just double boxed it with myself. So it wasn't bad. Obviously, you're guaranteed a win when it's just the 2 of you. You can make a private match. The only issue is when you finish a race on one profile, there's like a minute countdown before it ends. So either you finish the race on your other profile as well, or you let it sit. So I let it sit, but obviously 20 events, 20 minutes of waiting on top of everything else, it took a little while, but nice and easy. Saves trying to do it legit, and that was the online finished at that point, I believe. So absolutely everything done and only single player left. So for anyone keeping track on the collectible front, I have found all events, all drive-throughs, all smashes. That leaves the super jumps and the billboards. So I got almost all the billboards by myself. They're really easy to see. If you've already got them, then you still see them, but they're smashed up, so it's obvious. And obviously you can see which regions you're missing. So I used the guide for a few, but for most of these I found them by myself, so it didn't take long at all. The super jumps was a bit harder. They're quite hard to see. They're just ramps with a few lights at the bottom of them, but I used the guide for that and followed through. The 50 didn't take long at all, so I was only missing a few in each area. And upon getting those done, I had every single collectible in the game complete. So that was a massive relief. It was just grinding races and grinding events now. So one of the hard parts is definitely done. So for those paying attention, after getting all collectibles and doing the online, I was already at the 32-hour mark for gameplay. As I said, I now had to grind all the events. So there are 5 main types of events in this game. First of all, there is Marksman. In this, you obviously are the Marksman. You need to get to a certain destination without being wrecked. So when you get taken out by the AI, you take some damage, and after taking a certain amount of damage, you are wrecked and your event is over. You can go to the repair shops to heal yourself back up, but these are very straightforward. They weren't bad at all. Next of all, I had Road Rages to do. So Road Rages, all it does is target you with taking down a certain amount of opponents without wrecking yourself or without running out of time. These are very simple. As the game progresses, you have to take out more people in each event, so it does get harder. The AI gets more aggressive, but it's still not very difficult. It's probably my most enjoyed of all the events. Next, you have the classic race. So, as you'd expect, you need to get from point A to point B, but you need to finish in first place. It's hard because it doesn't pass you with a certain route. You have to figure it out yourself. And sometimes the roads can be quite confusing and they don't all join up even though it looks like it. So these are a bit tough at times, but for the most part nothing too difficult. Next you have stunt runs, where you need to accumulate a certain amount of score before your time runs out. If you have an active combo going, then you can continue it until you either crash or you let it time out. Once again, the score increases as you progress through the game, but they're not hard at all. And multipliers to increase your score are earned by doing things like flat spins, super jumps, hitting billboards, getting a lot of air. Nice and easy. The final thing you have to do is the burning routes. I didn't realise when I first started this, but the burning routes are the only type of event that don't reset when your license changes. So as I mentioned, all the events you had to do throughout the game, the total number, if you're doing the burning routes as you unlock them, you have to do slightly less than the 210 because they don't get wiped from your progress. A burning route is essentially having to get from point A to point B in a certain amount of time in a certain car. So all the main cars in the game have this. So that does mean you need to unlock all the cars to do them all, and you need to take them all down. So some cars, what happens is they will enter the game and you need to find them and take them down to unlock them to then be able to do the burning route. So quite a lot of events, quite a lot of things to do, but at least there is some variety to keep you sane. So along the way whilst doing all of these events, I got R in a China shop, which is to get 500 takedowns. This is a miscellaneous that I didn't bother grinding early on. I knew that I'd have to do a ton of road rages and I would unlock it along the way. So naturally, towards the end of the game, I popped one of the final miscellaneous achievements I had. So throughout the grind, I popped Flying Colours, which was the achievement for getting my A-class license. And after a bit more grinding, I got Paradise 1, which is for getting your Burnout driving license. At this point in time, I did bring up my stats here, just so you could see exactly how long I've played for and just how much I have left of the game afterwards, just to give you an idea of how long it takes to go from the end of your Paradise license to the end of the game. So as you can see, I'm up to 36 hours played and I have 64% completed of the game, so progress, but still. So progressing forward, I managed to get the Supercharged achievement, which was for doing 25 burning routes, and a bit further on down the line I got All Pimped Out, which was for completing every burning route in the game. Now just a few events after getting the final burning route, I finished my elite license. For some reason I didn't record this achievement. I was probably just too relieved that it was done. So I pulled up my stats here. So if you remember, I got to my burnout license at 36 hours. I hit my elite license at 46 hours 45 minutes. So it took almost 11 hours to progress through from the burnout license to the elite license. So at this point in time, we are very near to completion, 84% done. So the next achievement to come along was Speed King, which was for doing the time road rule on every road. So 64 roads, 64 road rules. This wasn't bad at all. Really easy, to be honest. The only hard thing is keeping track of where the roads start and end at times. But it's quite simple, didn't take too long at all. I really did not mind this in the slightest. And a few hours after this came the big one, so crashing all over the world, which was to do the showtime road rule on every road. Once again, 64 rows, 64 showtimes, and I got Criterion Elite, so that is your elite license, win every event, find all the discoverables, beat every single road rule. Massive commitment time-wise, but this was the final big achievement completely done. Finally. Now you may have noticed I didn't show me completing the whole game despite getting Criterion Elite. That's because I was missing Firestarter, which is an awful achievement. You need to make 50 online rivals, which is made by going online and either crashing into someone or being wrecked by someone while in free roam. This game is quite dead now, and you can't get a rival multiple times. It has to be someone different, so I had to keep joining and leaving games over and over and over again until finally I got this done. Bit of a nightmare, kept getting kicked, all kinds of things, but we finally got it done in the end. That was the final achievement and the game completed. And here it is, guys. These are the final stats upon getting every achievement. So just over 53 hours played, 101% complete, 64 roads ruled, so that's the times and the show times, 120 events, 35 drive-thrus, 570 collectibles, and technically like 200 odd events, one in total. So yeah, massive. I think this is quicker than on the 360. I would love to be able to load it up and see, but I don't have an original 360. I've only got my hard drive, so I can't compare the stats, which is a real shame. But after a very long grind, this was it, done. Every single achievement. And after 5 years, nearly 6, the game is done. So after all of that, what are my thoughts on the game? Was it worth it? How do I feel? So I got this when it first came out, the remaster. And just like the original, which I bought on release and left for years and years, I just didn't touch it. Despite that, I'm not much of a racing fan, game-wise, but I really love this game. So the events get a bit repetitive, I won't lie, but I think there's enough different things to do to always keep your attention going. You can switch to the online and do that, all kinds of different things. On top of that, it does play really well. I mean, it's not as, fun as maybe a Forza Horizon, and it's not the best racing sim in the world either. That's not what it's made to be. It's just somewhere in the middle. It's just a fun game to play. I believe now it's on the Game Pass as well, so anyone with a Game Pass subscription can play this completely free of charge, and I would recommend it. Yes, the completion is quite a commitment, But even if you're not a completionist and you're just playing for fun, it's well worth it. If you are a completionist, whilst it takes a while, like I said, there's a lot of variety and it's really not difficult. There isn't crazy rubber banding like in some racing games or anything like that. Sometimes the physics is a bit questionable. You might crash and kind of question how you crashed, but if you can get past that, it is well worth it. And I will say I am devastated we probably won't see another Burnout. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to just chuck down a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more like this. I really enjoy these kind of videos. I've been watching people do them for a while and I wanted to do it myself. And I'm happy that I started with a game that I really liked, which people haven't really covered, but it is also a grind. So hopefully it's, it's a bit impressive. Like I said, nothing hard, but it does take a while. If you've got any ideas for future games you might want to see, so maybe one that's really difficult or a game that you really love or a bit of a grind, let me know. I'm happy to try other stuff in the future and there will be more videos like this coming very soon. So as always, thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you again in the next one. See you later.